Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thank you so much for dropping by. Haven't led a session in a while. I'm really delighted to be here. And thank you. Hi to my currently one live viewer and to anyone taking the time to watch this. So let's get right down to business. Let's take in the goodness, the divine energy. Really engaging our will to receive. So the thing is Bruno Groening didn't come to found a religion. And it's my understanding he didn't come to prove or disprove any particular religion. Certainly he spoke very highly of Christ and the path, the spiritual path that Christ lived and called all of us to live. But to my knowledge, he never urged anyone to convert to Christianity. Now that's a very radical thing if you think about it. To extol, speak highly of Jesus, but not call people to become Christians. To teach the spiritual path that Christ taught, the way of life. And truly that way of life is, it's universal. Anyone of any religion or no religion, of any belief or no belief, of taking in sacred life energy, of watching your thoughts, of cultivating faith, of doing good deeds, of recognizing the divinity inside ourselves and the divinity inside others, of being humble before the infinite that made all of us. I didn't make myself. I didn't make this world. There's a common New Age idea that to declare that oneself is God or that one is the creator. Well, that's if someone feels called to believe that, so be it. What Bruno Groening taught was that that we are of the same nature of our Maker, and to actually be humble before that, whether you call it God or the Supreme. Bruno sometimes just called it the good. So what I just shared is sort of the basic outline of how Bruno taught us to live. And as you can see, it's really not a religion, it's a path. It's not an easy path to watch your thoughts, and then to observe yourself, not just observe your body, but observe our actions, our thoughts, our words. And then all of this leading to the idea of following God. You could say surrendering to God's will, seeking God's will and to do it. That's kind of old school. Another way to say it is to be led by inspiration, not necessarily personal inspiration, but divine inspiration, to be filled with the Spirit and led by it. Again, simple to maybe understand, not so easy to practice, to really be like, okay, God, you're the boss, I'm the employee. What would you have me do next? I've lived days like that, where it's like, okay, God, what's next? Every decision. I'm feeling hungry. Is it time to eat, God? No, I'm getting a no. Oh, I'm really hungry. Is it time to eat? Getting a no. Oh, I'm really hungry. Is it time to eat? Got a yes. Went to eat, then met someone magical at the restaurant and had a special connection and conversation. And like, okay, there's an infinite power that's a lot smarter than me. And aligning ourselves with that. And then, as Bruno said, being an instrument of that. And, if there's anyone out there who that's easy for, let me know and teach me, because it's not easy for me. It's easy to intellectually understand, okay, there's an infinite power, infinite wisdom, infinite intelligence that can guide me. But to decision by decision, action by action, thought by thought, to stay connected to that and be guided by that, well, I struggle with it every day. And I strive for it moment by moment. Fall short, plenty of moments. Some moments not. Very guided by inspiration. And it's wonderful. When that's what's going on, life is truly wonderful. To be connected to God, to be guided by God. It's really very simple. It's just not easy. It's not easy for me. And again, if there's anyone who it's easy for, like please post and help me do it better. So let's take in, hopefully I always say let's take in more. I hope every second of doing these videos, I'm trying to tune in, and I hope the people who are watching are doing that. It's thought by thought. It's moment by moment. I was just sitting here tuning in, and I have a little bit of a scratchy throat, and I know what it's from. I do there's an Ayurveda's Indian medicine, where you put special drops, herbal drops in your nose, and you do deep breathing, and it has many, many benefits. And sometimes after I do it, there's a little like tickle in my throat. I assume it's the herbs or the medicine kind of cleaning things out. It's happened before. It's not unusual. So I'm sitting here tuning in, and I'm like, oh, the throat's a little scratchy. And then I hear this thought. I'm probably getting a sore throat. Oh, I'm going to get sick. So friends, that's what Bruno Groening called the devil at work. Sending us thoughts that if we take them seriously, they send us on the wrong path. Like, let's say I said yes to those thoughts. I would, like, let's say, oh, maybe I'm getting sick. Like, let's say I said yes to that thought, and I absolutely didn't firmly say no to that. But what would happen? I would start to feel fear. And then probably another thought would come. Like, oh, I can't get sick right now. I have a lot going on. Then I would feel stress. Then I would go do all these things, and I would probably change my plans for the day. Not probably. I'd be like, oh, anyway, as you can see, one single thought sends us on a trajectory. Bruno Groening said, thoughts are forces. And there's a prime example. Every thought has an impact. Every thought has an impact. So one thought at a time, let's practice being mindful. Like your next thought, check in. Is this a good thought? Is this not a good thought? It can be so subtle. Like someone's coming to pick up something from this house today, and I keep having these negative thoughts like, oh, it's not going to go well, or oh, they're going to be not kind people. And over the last 2 days, I've probably had that same thought come 30 times. And so each time, and when a thought keeps coming, then not only do I give it away, but I sometimes check in. I'm like, okay, is there some guidance? I also pray for the situation. And I got some good guidance. It's a slightly delicate situation. I've purchased this house, and it's the children of someone who, their father who is not doing well health-wise. So he moved out, and some of his stuff is still here, and they're coming to get. And so it's a little bit, not delicate, but the guidance I got was just be gentle and diplomatic and kind. It may not be comfortable for these people to come here and pick up some items. So I forget the exact quote, but Bruno in essence said that we are guided. Sometimes I get hung up on quoting Bruno. I'm going to see if I can find the quote, though. It's really good. But in essence, we're guided in every moment. Every moment. We're guided. And the question is, by what? And so, that thought came of like, oh no, there's something wrong with your throat, or you're going to get sick. If I had said yes to that thought, I would have been not just guided, I would have been driven, moved, pushed. That's what Bruno said. He said thoughts, the German word is bewegen. It can be translated as move, but it's more like push or coerce. Same thing, these thoughts about this family children coming to pick up some stuff from this house that I've purchased. It's their father's. If I'd said yes to the negative thoughts, then when they show up, not only would it be stressful beforehand, but I'd be stressed when they showed up. Those thoughts would be guiding me, pushing me. Not fun. The thoughts of the devil do not move us in a good direction. They don't push us. Actually, I got very clear guidance today. I was like, don't, because my inclination is to say something about, and so it's like, don't say anything. Let them do the talking and just be cordial and kind. We can be guided in every situation. The guidance is available. We have to seek it out. And this is what I mean when I said Bruno Groening didn't come to form a religion. He didn't come to create groups that you can go to once a week or every 3 weeks and just like let that be that. He taught us a way of life to practice moment by moment. We're all we're all recovering from the habit of dwelling on negative things. We could start a 12-step program based on the teachings of Bruno Groening called Dwelling on Negative Things Anonymous. And it wouldn't just be us, it would be the whole world. Bruno called it the force of habit. It's not just a habit, it's not just a tendency, but a habit that has a force, again, that moves us in a certain direction. And we just absolutely have to unlearn, if we want to have a happy, healthy life, that is. I believe a huge part of Bruno Groening's work is healing the world of wrong ideas about Christ and about the path that Christ taught. And I can speak from personal experience. That's been a profound, profound healing for me. I had so many wrong ideas about Jesus that through studying Bruno's teachings, through tuning in, and through reflecting on Bruno Groening's life, really, I don't claim to know everything about Jesus or Christ, but I have answers that feel very solid and answers that have come from the inside about who Jesus was and what he actually taught. And that's precious beyond words. I'm utterly convinced that the teachings of Bruno Groening, aka the teachings of Jesus Christ, the actual teachings of Christ, can literally end all suffering on this planet. And that's why I practice them every day, and again, fall short every day. That's why I teach this. Not just because it saved my life, which it did, but because I'm utterly convinced Bruno Groening knew and expressed how life operates in the most direct, clear manner I've ever heard. And I'm convinced if enough people practice these teachings, not if enough people go to Bruno Groening meetings or come to my meetings, it's not that at all. If enough people live these principles, they don't have to have heard the name Bruno Groening. Bruno himself said that we would be living in paradise on earth in a very short time. One of the things I've found necessary is to, on this path, is to ask myself, okay, well, what is my religion? Meaning, two things, really. What's my metaphysical worldview? And what spiritual community do I want to participate in? Because, the Bruno Groening, this is a community. The Bruno Groening community is a community. I have a little community here on this YouTube channel. I participate in the Bruno Groening Circle of Friends. And if you notice, Bruno Groening almost never talked about any kind of metaphysical worldview. He said that we were all on this vast journey that included multiple lifetimes, but he really just kind of said it every now and then. He was also, teaching in Germany in 1950s, and the idea of reincarnation was radical, and he was speaking at that time. He was speaking mostly to Christians. Now in the 21st century in the United States, 25% of people believe in reincarnation, according to one study anyway. But so I found it very, very helpful to seek out actual religious communities and participate. And also because how to say it? It's like Bruno Groening taught the rules of the game of life. Well, I'll just speak for myself, that's been really, really helpful. And to also have a metaphysical view of the universe that resonates for me. Bruno Groening really taught how to live life here on this earth. And he spoke little to none of what happens before and after. And it's been really helpful to me to orient that way, to have, I let so much of that go. And now I'm finding, I don't want to think about it too much. See, I went through a phase, I think a lot of spiritual people do, where it's like they just read spiritual books and it's all this information and all these different beliefs, and they're just thinking all the time about things that aren't here now and are not thinking about their life here on this earth. And Bruno Groening is good medicine for that. I was one of those people, and Bruno Groening was very good medicine for that tendency I had to not think about metaphysical things, not things that aren't here now. And I found it really helpful to follow my own path and find some beliefs that sort of can give a context for my time here on this earth. So that's something that's been very, very helpful to me. Wow, it's so delightful. There's currently 6 of us on here. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Just makes my heart smile. When 2 or more are gathered, much less when 6 of us are gathered, taking in this energy and reflecting on these teachings. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I'll be doing this again real soon. And I wish you a day full of connection and communion with the divine. Take care. Much love.